When a consumer reaches checkout, they're no longer browsing, they're buying. It's a moment of peak intent, attention, and engagement. That's where Rokt comes in. Rokt helps brands reach customers at the moment that matters most, delivering relevant offers and content that feel like a natural part of the transaction experience, not an interruption. Learn more at rokt.com. That's ROKT.com. Hey gang, it's Monday, June 29th. Cal, Sky, and listeners, welcome to Behind the Numbers, an eMarketer podcast made possible by Rokt. I'm Marcus, and joining me for today's conversation, we have two folks, principal retail analyst. She lives in Austin. We call her Sky Canaves. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Marcus.
Hello there. Also joined by a special guest, SVP Strategic Key Accounts at Rokt, living in New York. It's Callum Donnelly.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, fella. Absolute pleasure. Anytime we have a special guest on, we start, of course, with the speed intro. So, two questions for you, Cal, and then one for Sky at the end. Cal, what do you do in a sentence?
I lead our strategic key account experiences vertical, which includes all of our major ticketing, travel, and entertainment clients at Rokt.
Very nice. Second question I have for you is, what's your Mount Rushmore of movies? So top four for folks who don't know about.
That's four, right? Four movies,
Yeah.
four presidents. It's got to be Ocean's 11, Snatch, Pulp Fiction, and The Dark Knight, I'm going to say.
And the last one's what? Sorry?
The Dark Knight, Batman.
Sky, you might have won already.
Maybe with you, yeah.
What a list! Coming in swinging. All right, Sky. Wait, hang on a second, really quick. Cal, pick one. What's the top one?
I started watching Snatch with my dad when I was like 15, 16, and we've watched it a million times together.
Such a good rewatch as well. Yeah. You don't even feel like, with that, I don't feel like I have to, sometimes you have to wait. I have to wait like 20 years for me to forget. Snatch I can watch all the time.
100%.
Brilliant choices. All right, Sky, best of luck.
Oh, thank you. My pick is going to be a little more quirky. I don't know. You might have to put these in the show notes because two of them are foreign films. But my first is I'm gonna go with Amadeus, and then I've got my Chinese films, Raise the Red Lantern and In the Mood for Love, and I'm gonna wrap it up with Wall-E. And that one would probably get my top pick because I've watched it so many times with my daughter. It's been on repeat for years.
I can't watch it more than once. That should be a horror film. It's terrifying.
It is
terrifying.
But very kind of true also. Still rings true with us.
Painfully true. Also very resonant rewatch. The others I'm obviously not aware of, but you lived in China for a bit, so that makes sense. Not China.
China and Hong Kong. Yeah.
Hong Kong.
So I've got one. I've got one Chinese film and one Hong Kong film on there.
Okay, very well played. Wow, folks, this is a good list. I've got Nightmare Before Christmas, the Disney film. That's my best film ever. That's the best one. Green Mile, Whiplash. You guys seen Whiplash?
Oh.
That's brilliant. And Lion. I thought I had a strong list. And then I listened to both of yours. Should never have done this. Anyway, today's real topic. Why the advertisers winning on performance are buying moments, not media. Cal, we want to talk a bit about, a lot of things, but one of the words that is kind of coming up a lot when we were talking before the episode was this word intent, and how, I guess, what that means and how that's changed. Let's start with, what does intent mean to you? What do you think of when you hear that word?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, from a Rokt perspective, we're all about driving intent. That's essentially how our commercial model and our business works. So as customers are checking out at a high intent, high peak moment where they're focused on what they're purchasing, they're making decisions as they're going through a bunch of different checkout experiences. We're all about trying to show the most relevant next best action for those customers. And so At the end of the day, what we're here to do is drive intent for our advertisers, intent for our partners, but most importantly, make sure that the intent for the consumer is there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we think about how do we show up in the right way? How do we show up that's not going to add additional psychological decisions for the consumer? And how do we make sure that when they've selected something, that they're going to get a great deal, a great benefit, and the experience itself is going to be really seamless.
Mm-hmm. And how you have a ton of data coming in, and so you're able to get a really good picture of intent and a lot of other things as well. But what stands out the most to you in terms of how the consumer's intent has changed or changes over the course of a year? I guess seasonally, and maybe if you want to zoom out and look how it, what it used to look like, how many years ago versus today as well.
Mm. I think what's been interesting about our business is how much we've grown from both our supply side and our demand side. So we're a three-sided network. We have e-commerce publishers and partners that we optimize and monetize their traffic. We have advertisers and brands which bid to show up on those on those e-commerce sites, and then we have the customer. And at the end of the day, everything that we start and stop and think about is the customer and the customer intent, because their engagement and their conversion is what drives our entire flywheel and is what's the most important to deliver the right commercial outcomes for all of the different stakeholders that we deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've seen over the last 9-10 years that I've been at the organization is that we've added more and more supply to our network across a wide variety of verticals. It started off in travel and ticketing. We then launched across our retail vertical, and now we're essentially in every major kind of industry in the world. Think of that from financial services to mobility to grocery. Seasonality-wise, each of those industries have different times of peaks and troughs, but our network doesn't see a huge amount of seasonal trends because we're live in all of those industries and we're live with such penetration. And so what's interesting for us is, as an advertiser or a brand, how can you show up in different parts of those industries where at the start of the year, ticket sales are on sale for concerts. Middle of the year, you've got all the summer blockbusters that are coming out. And then at the end of the year, you've got typical retail seasonal trends. And so how as you as a brand can show up in different parts of the year based on those industry peak moments is something that's really important to us and really important to the types of companies that we talk to.
Yeah.
And I think the retail intent has shifted a lot over the course of the year, just over the past few years, particularly since the pandemic. One thing we see is like promotional calendars and sales events are shifting, and they continue to shift. We just had a June Prime Day really early that's now twice as long as it was a couple of years ago. And we have a different back to school season. People shop earlier for holiday gifts. And where we see it most is in that, holiday season, which we define as November, December. This year, we're forecasting that for the second year in a row, holiday season sales growth will be lower than the average for the full year. So it will vary by category. There are some that will accelerate, but there's a broad deceleration, which points to the shifts in consumer behavior and intent in other parts of the year.
I think what's interesting there, Sky, is if you think about the start of the year, Fanatics is a perfect example of a retailer that has seasonal trends as the NBA Finals happen, as Super Bowl happens. But I think if you said at the start of the year that Fanatics would have their largest ever day with 8,000 plus orders per hour or 8,000 orders per minute after the Knicks one, or if you're a Summer House fan, that Sephora would have one of their largest ever social media days when they had built a relationship with Sierra to do a whole trust campaign. That came out of not seasonal type experiences. That came out of cultural moments that kind of created a zeitgeist moment for everybody. That if you're a brand that's capable and flexible and can take some risks, you can really show up in a way that really matters.
Yeah, and I think that flexibility is key because there are cultural moments that you can plan for, but then certain things just can take off within them. So we know the NBA championship is coming, it's got its dates, but the Knicks win and it's the big team from the big city more than 50 years since they won. So it becomes a huge cultural event that kind of resonates across the country because us New Yorkers are all over the place. Sorry, Marcus.
That's fine. I love you guys, really. It's just my dad who bothers me. Uh, there's this quote you had, Cal, which I thought was really interesting. This summer, not Q4, is the peak intent window for a significant share of the consumer economy. I've read that a number of times, and I know that it can be true, but for some reason, it's hard for me to wrap my head around how that's possible. Tell folks what you mean here and what makes you say that.
Yeah, I think what we see, and I think Sky made a comment just then around a prime day in the summer months.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at historically, there are some verticals that are obviously large in the summer space, and that's particularly exhibitors and blockbusters, and that's live events. And since the pandemic, what's been really interesting is the differences between those two industries. You've had live events have record after record after record year since COVID because of all the pent up demand, and you had massive on sales, whether it was Taylor Swift a few years ago, or even Bruno Mars just recently announcing, Harry Styles announcing 20 plus tour at MSG. Those moments are typically in the summer and drive a significant demand, not just from a ticket supply perspective, but more importantly from a brand perspective. You have consumers who are young, who have disposable income, who are showing up to multi-day events or multi-day concert series and are spending a ton of money both leading up to the event and at the event itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think about what's super interesting this year, which is for the first year since COVID, the movie industry will have the largest ticket sales since 2019. And if you listen to any of the earnings reports for any of the publicly listed companies that live in the exhibitor space, they continually compare their ticket sales and their performance to 2019. This is the first year they're going to actually exceed those ticket sales.
Oh, wow.
And that space in itself is now becoming more experiential. So consumers aren't just going to the movie and buying the popcorn and the drink, but they're actually buying merchandise, and they're creating an entire event around friends and family to go and see Toy Story or to see the Odyssey. And I think what's such an interesting change in how brands can show up, but more importantly, the consumer trends, is the fact that these types of events are becoming experiential, and they're becoming kind of multi-day, or at least a day out event. That means that there's a lot more consumer spending to take capture of and to try and drive conversion towards as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think when it comes to experiences, what we see is there are these emotional commitments to experience that exist both before and after the event, because you're planning for it, you're preparing for it. Things like going to the movies or going to a concert, the prices have gone up a lot. So they become more expensive. They're more of an investment in terms of budget and then the emotions that are attached with it. And then because of social media, people want to share that and commemorate it. And that's an opportunity for retail as well, in that post experience, buying a souvenir or merchandise or gifts around an experience.
Mm-hmm. So this is, I mean, Cal, when you talk about the difference between the consumer who shows up to a must-see cultural event and the consumer who shows up for a regular weekend, this is what you guys are talking about.
Exactly. You've got a different type of mindset when you have a cultural event that's once in a lifetime, once in 50 plus years, waiting for the Knicks to win, a Taylor Swift concert, where these people have spent both their lifetime waiting for this type of event and then are willing to spend a considerable amount of money to make sure they're at the event.
Mm-hmm.
And they are creating an experience for themselves, for their friends and their family, to really commemorate what is an incredibly special time in their life. And so they're willing to hear from brands, listen to brands, and ensure that that experience is kind of world-class for whatever that means to them.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got the other types of consumers that are, regular, more kind of utilitarian type consumers. They're getting their Ubers, they're getting Uber Eats, they're getting Grub, whatever it is, getting grocery. And it's a different type of engagement and conversion event that you're probably trying to target there. So it's all about just trying to remember at what moment you're trying to target a consumer, where they're at in their journey, and do they want to be interrupted? Are they interested in an offer or not? And understanding between those two, kind of a zeitgeist moment versus a more regular, ordinary experience, what's actually going to resonate with that consumer at that time.
Mm-hmm. So speaking about the right moment to target a consumer, you say that Rokt believes one of the most valuable moments are the immediate seconds post purchase. And this is another one of those things, like you said before about Q4, not being the only time of the year, and summer having a significant amount of importance in terms of intent. This is one of those things where I hear it, but it's still something's not making sense to me in terms of why, after someone's just bought something, are they a key person for folks to go after. So to you, what's happening in the kind of moments, the seconds after someone completes the transaction, and why is that moment so important to Rokt?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's three critical reasons for why this moment and the transaction moment in general is such a powerful opportunity for brands to acquire customers and for our e-commerce partners to monetize and optimize their experience. Number one, it's incredibly rich in first-party data. When you're buying a ticket on Ticketmaster or you're buying a t-shirt on The Gap, you're not putting in a fake email address or a fake address, because you need that ticket delivered to your email and you need that white t-shirt delivered to your home address. And so you're putting in all of your primary real first-party information. So the ability for smart businesses that leverage ML and AI to build lookalike audiences and to power the right type of next best action is incredibly powerful because of that first-party data that's been inputted by the consumer themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The second core reason is that consumer has just gone down a incredibly long buying journey. Even a buying journey where it's as simple as getting an Uber still requires you to think and still requires you to be focused on, is my address right? Is my pickup address right? And is my drop-off location right? And so you're not multi-scrolling, right? You are not on your laptop and your phone. You're not watching TV and your phone. You're really focused on that moment to make sure that whatever you're purchasing or booking at that moment is accurate. And so engagement is incredibly high post checkout as well. And then the third reason is this idea of what we call the buying mindset. Consumers are excited to buy things. It's one of the only places online where there's actual dopamine and a positive psychological experience. In the world of social media and all of the challenges that creates, this is a moment that people are actually excited. And so when you create first-party data with the buying mindset, with this capability of engagement, you have a really amazing opportunity to show up to a consumer and offer a reward or a acquisition event that's actually going to feel like it's a gift post-checkout, but also something that's going to be additive to their experience. And if you can do that in the right way, Marcus, I think what's really pivotal here is the consumer has already made a lot of decisions up until that point.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing you want to do is overburden them with more
Right.
decisions, or what we call the paradox of choice. And so showing up in the right way, in a native and frictionless environment, in a way that's actually going to be rewarding to that consumer based on all the things we know about them, that's the pivotal experience to make sure that at the end of the day, what the consumer is seeing and is actually going to be something they engage with.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a fascinating psychological angle in terms of the shopper mindset. There's like post-purchase momentum, because it's not item bought, case closed. There's still an opening there for offers and targeting that is highly relevant and personal. I think it has to feel easy, low friction, and very relevant to whatever mindset the shopper is already in, what's led them to the purchase that they just completed. And I guess that's different from retargeting that takes place later. It's not that immediate moment
Yeah,
that you're trying
exactly.
to capture. Yeah.
And there are ways, guys. Some of the new products that we've built are things that, like, we call shopper rewards. So it's all about actually trying to incentivize that customer to come back to the e-commerce retailer site after they've purchased that original product.
Mm-hmm.
So we offer things like gift cards and loyalty loop and other ways to not just get a consumer to engage with the brand's offer, but actually give it a reason for that customer to come back and actually purchase on the publisher's side. And we offer things like gift cards and loyalty points and things like that, which is all about trying to create a flywheel within the ecosystem itself. We want to have consumers not just finish their purchase and leave. We want them to actually have an action that's going to be exciting and rewarding for them in that moment, but also incentivizes them to come back into the network and continue to purchase things as well.
Mm-hmm. before you explain, so I read I read this about, the perfect moment is right after someone's bought something. Before you explain it, I'm like, this is madness. And then right after, I'm like, this is genius. This makes this makes too much sense. How did I not see it? Um, I guess it's kind of like solving a Rubik's cube. It's like if you know how to, then you're just like, okay, yeah, now it just makes. But before you do, it's just something that you can't even wrap your head around. So yeah, no, thanks for laying that out so clearly as well. Let's end the episode with talking about CMO. What would you say to the CMOs listening, to the marketing folks listening, if that's not necessarily your title? To this episode, who want to apply this level of thinking to their planning, and where might they begin?
I think I'll say from the publisher side, and then from the brand side. I think from the publisher side, retail media is now kind of synonymous in this space, and it's, I think, now shifted to commerce media. This opportunity to not just monetize your customer's experience, but optimize it and make sure that the consumer, so the customer that you've spent all this time and energy getting into your ecosystem, getting them through the funnel, and then finally getting them to purchase, you're treating them with the utmost respect. The types of businesses that are optimizing that entire full funnel are the types of businesses that I would want to work with, because they understand the consumer from the moment they enter the homepage all the way through to the end of that experience, and making sure that you create a really seamless environment, a seamless checkout moment, but a moment that gives you the opportunity to monetize and or optimize that experience in different ways. It could be through third-party advertising, it could be first-party initiatives, it could be showing a great co-brand offer. But actually understanding who the customer is going to be critical to the ability to get customers to stay in your network, and to not leverage things like AI, not to go to Google, but to actually go to your website first. And I think that's something that more and more CMOs we talk to every day are really thinking about how they actually solve that problem. It's a hard problem to solve, but there are lots of good businesses out there that help. I think on the brand side, I think what's interesting is it's really hard to time cultural moments. To Sky's point, we know that the NBA Finals is happening, but we didn't know it was going to be, the Knicks winning in such a dramatic fashion after an amazing playoff experience. And you need to be flexible. You need to have some sort of risk, and you need to condense your planning cycles to be able to take advantage to show up in those moments. And I think if you can do that in a way that enables you to have really smart people think about the moment itself and how you can show up in a way that's actually going to be meaningful to the fan base, to the fandom, to whatever that cultural event is, that's going to drive the right type of conversation, whether that's an immediate conversion event that you're looking for, an immediate acquisition, or a broader brand story that you're trying to tell. And I think there's some really smart businesses that do that today, that get both of those pieces right. And I think if you can continue to be flexible and continue to be risk on in some of those moments, it can be a huge windfall for your organization.
Yeah. Sky, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the summer. I know there are a lot of big additional cultural moments in addition to the World Cup, like Taylor Swift's wedding. Talk about once in a lifetime. Things that our fans have been waiting for. Yeah, and Olivia Rodrigo just announced a concert, a festival later in the summer, which sounds amazing, and will draw so much attention, particularly from younger consumers who are, often the ones who are still spending in this environment, who are looking for those experiences and everything that goes along with them.
An excellent note to end on, folks. Thank you so much for your time today. I thank first Sky.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thanks for being here. Thank you, of course, to Cal.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yes, sir. Thank you to the production crew, Lance and Danny helping us out with this one. And to everyone for listening into Behind the Nose eMarketer podcast made possible by Rokt. Thank you for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with a Tuesday episode, an episode of In the Game, discussing how advertisers can win the World Cup. Not really, because England will, but you get it. We probably won't.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, Cal. Okay.